Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry for the absence of anything last month. I had a pretty busy schedule because I wrote a lot. And yeah, talking about that, I don't know how long this is gonna stand, as I might just stop to concentrate on writing. But I mean, you probably don't care, so no big deal for you. If I'll do that, it's just because I have notes to avoid forgetting stuff. So, this video is gonna be a wrap-up of my reading year, because, as you might know, it is nearly the end of the year, which, from my point of view, is very good, as this year was not a great year. But yeah. So, I use the app Goodreads to track my reading and everything. And so, my challenge this year was 65 books. I have not reached 65 books yet. But I still have like 6 days, and I read 61 books. And so I have 4 books to read in 6 days, which is pretty okay, as I already read like half books. So yeah, my results stuffs are not like accurate as I have not finished my challenge, but you get the idea. So yeah, first of all, my shortest book, it was Une rose et un balai. I don't know if it exists in English. I don't think so, as it is a French book, like a Swiss book. And it is very nice. It's a poetry collection. The translation of Une rose et un balai is a rose in a mop. Not really a mop, but kind of. I'll put a picture of the book here, so you'll be able to picture a bit. And yeah, it was only like 133 pages, which is pretty short for me. But it was a very quick read. The poems were insanely good and were pretty accurate for everyday life. Like it was not complicated poetry like Frost or Rimbaud or stuff like that. It was not basic poetry, because it was very good poetry, but it was poetry for anybody. Just like, if you want to read easy poetry, read it and you'll be able to like feel it and feel understood and have an interesting view of the word and everything. So yeah, I really loved it. My longest book was The Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th Harry Potter book, I guess, because I haven't finished the 5th one, which is longer yet. Yeah, it's 734 pages, which is pretty thick. I think it's like kind of that big, which you can not really picture how big it is. It's like through a screen and everything, but yeah, pretty big. I really loved it, and I'm pretty basic. It's my favorite Harry Potter book, because yeah, I really love the story, and I love like tournament stuff. Like, I really love the books Hunger Games and stuff like that. So yeah, having a tournament in a book based on wonder and magic and stuff, always fun. And so yeah, it was very nice. Pretty easy read, even though it's big, because it's like written for children, so you won't struggle that much to read it. Like, the size can be a bit depressing, but if you hesitate, just give it a try, because it's not that hard, and it's not a quick read per se, but like, it's good. Read it. And it's like something most people have read, so you always find someone to talk about it with. Like, and the book and the movies are pretty close, I guess. So yeah, but both are good. Books are even, like, of course better, but yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it. So my average book length is 353 pages, which is average book, so I feel very basic right now. Is it good? Not really, but book-wise, it's okay, I guess. My average rating is like 4.5 stars, and the most you can give is 5 stars. And I guess it's because I am a bit reluctant to read books badly, because as I know what it is to write and stuff, I know it's very hard and you struggle with it, and sometimes you think that what you wrote is amazing. You give it to someone and the person just like, yeah, thanks, yeah. And so I think it's part of why I'm reluctant to give bad reviews and stuff. And so I tend to give like 4 to 5 stars to most books. And like, if I really don't dislike a book, I will give it like 3 stars, which is pretty high for a bad book. But yeah, I mean, that's me, and I often have an unpopular opinion, so who cares in the end of what I like and what I don't like, except me and the persons I force to read books. I do that a lot. So my total of pages, which is not full yet as I still have books to read, this month is 21,580 pages, which kind of sounds like a lot, but not like, I feel like it's very little, but a lot at the same time. It is strange, and yeah, I feel strange about it, but I mean, I'll accept it and take it as a win and tell myself, pat on the back, you did good. Yeah, and I probably put a page at the end of this video to show like my final results and stuff. You don't really care about that, probably. Yeah. So my top 5 books, because yeah, I did a top 5 and not a top 3, as already just speaking out 5 books out of 61. It was torture, like actual real torture, because I love books, and I think like a lot of books are insanely good, and so picking books is my worst nightmare, as if I could, I would just say any books, like books are perfect. So yeah, but I did a rank, and it's like totally just my point of view, so if you disagree, feel free to disagree and tell me your point of view in the comments, but be respectful, please. Like, it's the point. So the last one on the list is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I really loved it, and I really look forward reading the second one, because I think the characters are interesting, and well, I really love Leigh Bardugo's writing, and I think her writing something like more adult is interesting, because I mean, it's more for me than children books, as I'm supposed to be an adult. But yeah, I really love that book, and it's like really dark academia vibe, and I loved that dark academia vibe. So yeah, read it if you haven't read it yet. It's very good. The fourth one is The Alchemist, my last read, from Paulo Coelho. I don't know where the H is in the name, but whatever. It is insane how good that book is. I read it in French, so yeah. But it is very good. Like, it gives a view of the word, of soul, and how we perceive stuff around us, of pursuing one's dreams and everything. That is so interesting. It is so good. And if you don't want to read it because you're like, I don't care about alchemy and stuff like that, well, it's not really a subject. It's called The Alchemist because he meets an alchemist at some point. But the theme of the book is not alchemy. It's more like understanding oneself and stuff like that. So it's very good. You should read it. And yeah, I gave it 5 stars right away because I don't know why, but I kind of fell in love with that book, like, from the start, because I have a very nice version of it, and there's like a word of the writer before, and he explains how he wrote that book, and I could really see myself. It was like, I was in front of my computer just not knowing how to start, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel you, guy. And yeah, it's very interesting to have the point of view of the writer and to see what he went through while trying to write it. For the third one on the podium right now, it is not one book but a series of books, but I mean, you can have like a very big one with all them in it. They tend to do that after a few years. The translation of the name is The Mirror Visitor. In French it is La Passe Miroir, and it's written by Christelle Dabos, and I loved those books. They're like fantasy, fiction, not really history, but yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but I loved it. Like, it's so well written. You feel like you're in the universe she describes, and it's so great. Like, the main character can actually travel through mirrors. Like, if she reflects in one and in another too, she can travel from one to the other. And how fun is that? I mean, I want to do that too. And yeah, it's like arranged marriage shit, and the man she's supposed to marry is like a very cold guy, very tall, scary because he have like scars and stuff, never talks, and it's always just like, hi, I am Thorn, and that's it. And she's a very like lively girl, and she have like big chunk of hair, like curly hair, always like big glasses and stuff, and she always like dreams and stuff like that, and he's just serious and nobody likes him. And so like it kind of gives the grumpy sunshine thingy between them. And yeah, I really loved how the relationship grew and everything. I love that book. If you those books, and there are 4 of them. Yeah, they're pretty big, like an average of 500 pages, I would say, but they are very, very fast, like quick reads. I mean, I had COVID when I started. Oh, I read the first one and then I had COVID and read the second and third one in 3 days, I guess. So yeah, when you start it, you get in and you like drown in it, basically. But yeah, love them. Now I'm gonna go to the second one and stop like rambling on and on. The second book on the podium is Where the Crawdad is Sing. Sorry for my pronunciation, I really don't know how to pronounce it. And they, by Delia Owens, they did a movie about that book, and the movie adaptation is insanely good. So read the book to be amazed by its quality and its perfection. Then watch the movie to see a really good book to movie adaptation. And finally be able to be like, I don't feel like hurt in my reader's mind by that movie. I can die happily now. I'm kidding, but I mean, this movie adaptation was perfection. The casting is insanely good, and the game between present and past dealt with perfectly. I mean, I love that book. And yeah, so basically it's the story of a girl who lives in the march, and there's a murder at some point. Everybody points to her because she lives in the march and she's like an outcast and stuff like that. So it's very interesting about like how you perceive someone and judge them just because, and not knowing them and everything. And so if you like stuff that make you think, read it. If you like thriller-ish books, read it. And if you like love stories, read it. So it's basically kind of the perfect book. I mean, and she's a writer too, kind of, a bit. Yeah, you'll see. Read it. It's so good. And if you hate reading, just watch the movie. It's good too. And the first book, I think I already talked about that book because I really love it, but I only read it this year, so I had to put it in the list, as it instantly became my favorite book, and it is none other than Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. I love that book. I fell in love with it instantly. I mean, it is so great to see like those girls growing. You just feel like kind of their mother, and just read the book and be like, oh, I hope she ends up happy. Oh, I hope this goes on well. And oh, what the freak is that? And yeah, I just got so invested in their life. Like, normally I'm not... When I say this is my favorite book, people look at me and are like, what? You read that and liked that? And I'm like, yeah, I know it's strange, but this book is insane. So yeah, please read it. It is a pearl. It is a pearl. Now, to annoy you, I'm gonna talk about the worst books I read this year. And I want to say it before. It is my opinion, and I don't say those books are bad. I just say I didn't like reading. I had no real pleasure reading them. And so, yeah, it's my taste. And I'm not saying these books are bad. So if you liked one, don't feel like I'm judging you and being like, your tastes are shit. No. In my opinion, I'm like, meh. They don't deserve the hype. Or one does, but they don't deserve to be that hyped. And you're gonna get what I'm talking about right now, because the first one is The Song of Achilles. I know everybody loved that book, and I don't get why. Because I thought it was way too slow. And, I mean, I knew the ending because I have a bit of mythological knowledge. And so I was like, oh, everybody felt sad because of it. But you knew it was gonna end up like that, I mean. And yeah, I kind of was disappointed because I was hoping for, like, more... I don't know how to say that, but yeah, I was hoping for the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus to be like better and more exploited and stuff, but I was kind of disappointed in that part too, so sorry, but not my favorite one. But I mean, Madeline Miller is a very great writer. I also read Circe by her, and I preferred Circe. Circe. She's a very great writer, but it's a very slow-paced book. and it's not my favorite kind of books. So yeah. For second book I don't really like is Handmaid's Tale. I don't know. I don't remember why I disliked that book, but I had a pretty bad time reading it. And yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, but not my kind of book. Like, yeah. If you love it, keep loving it and be happy with it, but not my kind of book. And the last one is also a dystopia, so maybe I have something against dystopia. But what I wrote is kind of a dystopia. I'm strange. If you hadn't gathered that yet. And the last one is 1984 by George Orwell, which makes me very sad to put in the worst book list. Because George Orwell is a genius. His writing is insanely good. And I'm just like, no, I'm not that good. I mean, who am I to say that? What a freak. But yeah. It's also very slow paced, and you're like, everybody's basically dumb in it. But I mean, if you read it to study it, it is a very good book to read. But if you just read it to have a great time, maybe pick something else. Except if you love slow paced books. If you love slow pace, read it. But yeah, it was not my favorite, which made me very sad, as I love George Orwell. Like Animal Farm, a pearl. I love it. But 1984, sorry, not my fav. And yeah, that's a wrap for this year. And I'm gonna finish this video by talking about my goals for next year. And so, for this year it was 65 books, and it was very not practical because you cannot divide 65 by 12. And so I was like, I have to read like 5 point something books. Does not make sense every month. And so now I have my goal at 72 books for next year, which is 6 books every month, which is doable if I read consistently, which I hope to do. So, and I do count the books I read for my lessons in it, as I read a lot for my lessons. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna achieve that. I hope. I'm too competitive to fail that. And yeah, my reading goal is also to continue reading my 100 books to read in a lifetime thingy. And so I'm gonna read a lot of them. I actually already put them apart in my bedroom to be just able to go and pick one and read it and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read a lot of those. And of course, write. And I'm probably gonna do a video about writing and everything soon. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a video about it, but don't wait for it if you want like advices to be a writer, because I'm not really a writer, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it encourages you to read, and please do not compare yourself with other readers. It is not the point. I mean, if you read 1 book a year, you are a reader. So just, even if it's like 100-page book, and you only read that, you are already a reader. So I just want to encourage you to read, even if it's very little or a lot. So yeah, read. It's good for the mind, the mental health and everything. And yeah, I'm gonna put my Goodreads link thing in the bio if you want to join mine, so that we can like follow our personal goals and stuff. And I love seeing what people read, so if you're interested in seeing what I read, voila. And yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day.